Oh, do you know what? I've just finished milking and look at this, it's daylight still. What a result. I feel spring is coming, thank goodness. You know, we're all glad of a bit of spring, aren't we? But I got a spring update on my milk contract, and I thought I put on Facebook about it yesterday. I thought I'd just update you what's going on with the milk and inflation and blah blah blah, really, because there's a lot of stuff up in the air at the moment, especially in farming. So if you follow Farming Press, sorry, I'm just leaning against my tree, leaning against a lamppost. Right, let's get on the serious stuff now. If you follow farming or the Farming Press over the last couple of months, everyone's been talking the milk price down for quite a while, saying there's a big crash coming, which kind of like, it doesn't take rocket scientists to know that, because it's very much, there's a massive cycle with milk and farming. So basically what happens, it always follows the same. The milk price goes up, and then everyone piles in and produces more milk because they think, my goodness, this milk price is high, I can make a bit of money. But also, the other thing is, everyone knows that when the milk price is high, everyone will pile in and the price will drop because people produce more milk, too much milk around, supply and demand, volume drops, the price drops to try and steady the control the volume. So this is something that I've seen for years and years. Now, it's an interesting one now, because the problem we've got now is that while the milk prices drop, the costs haven't really come back yet. The costs in farming, you know, the feed, the fertilizer, the electric and everything like that. And it's a very strange thing, because some people's costs are very different than others. So for instance, we had significant costs in the autumn, because I had to buy in all the feed for our cattle, because we had no grass in the fields. It cost well over £5,000 we spent on forage. Yet my costs for electric are very low at the moment, because I'm on a fixed contract of 17p a unit daytime, 14p a night time. Now I know some farmers who are paying 65, someone thinks the other day commented 76p. So our costs are all over the place. But this price cut that's coming now certainly is going to have quite an impact on the milk production, because people will start, if they've got high costs like high electric costs, everything like that, they will have to cut back. And so hopefully things will stabilise a little bit if this price impact kicks in. On the plus side for the consumer, you've got to look at the plus maybe and the minus. So on the minus for the farmer, our costs are maybe coming down a bit, but we don't know where those costs are going. On the plus side for the consumer, so I'm looking at, let me just tell you, I got a 1p a litre reduction beginning of 1st of February. Now this is the March update, because Muller actually, to give them their due, they stick to a code of conduct where they give you a month's notice. Not all dairy buyers do that. So let me just read you this. The Muller Direct milk price from the 1st of March will be 43p for a standard litre, a decrease of 3p. This means that the Muller Direct farmers will satisfy conditions for Muller Direct Premium 2023 will receive 44p a litre, because we get a 1p a litre premium if you jump through a load of hoops and do certain things, which we do, because you've got to chase every penny. So we're looking at a 44p there, but so if you're a mathematician, work out a percentage drop on that. So it's dropping from 47p to 44p. That's not 10%, but it's going to be 8%, something like that, isn't it? But on the so our input, our return for our milk is coming down quite considerably. Where our costs, I am worried about my costs, because the electric price is my biggest worry. I'm scared where that's going. I'll be looking at things on that in the future. But at the same time, tomorrow, which is Wednesday, you're watching this on Wednesday, I've got my kids at home because the National Union of Teachers, or whichever it's called, I got a letter from Castle School here, and it says they're going on strike because they want and this is quite funny really, I got to laugh at this. Industrial dispute, blah blah blah. What do they want? They want a lot. They want a fully funded above inflation pay rise for teaching and support staff. Now I realise that they're under this, I needed more money for my farm to cover my costs, and a lot of people need more money for living and stuff now. But the thing is, to ask across the board inflation of busting pay rise, to my mind, I'm not getting at just teachers here, I'm looking at the bigger picture of everyone else going on strike. Well, hang on a minute. So you want above inflation, so more than the inflation rate. But looking at inflation, I can see that inflation is going to have to come down, because realistically my milk price is going to feed through into that inflation figure. So if I'm dropping 1p a litre in February, 3p a litre in March, at some point I would hope that would pass through to the consumer. I'm also seeing, when I follow the oil price, the diesel price, I'm looking at red diesel costs have come down. You can certainly see in the supermarkets petrol and diesel have come down. So I think inflation is about 10% now. Realistically, inflation is going to be coming down in the end, by the end of this year, I would have thought. So, and trust me, I am not pro any government, so I'm not doing this as part of a political thing. But I can see why every government the government are saying they're holding out, because the reality is, say 10%, if they settle now at 10% inflation, give it 6 months, inflation would be 5%. Now if you settle now at 10% inflation, not only does everyone get 10% inflation busting salary increase, but that impacts going forward for the next X 50 years or whatever, because every pay rise will be based on that added amount plus whatever they get now. And I think kind of like it's a bit rich to ask for an inflation busting pay rise of 10% for everyone on the payroll, because reality is these increased costs are impacting the people on the lower pay grades way more than the people on higher pay grade. If you're earning 100 grand and you get 10% pay rise, you're getting 10 grand. If you're telling me your cost of living has gone up 10 grand in the last year, what are you doing, mate? Because the food, you can only eat so many meals, you can only drive so many miles in your car. So, but looking at the bigger picture, it's a kind of typical thing where at the end of the day the farmers are always the ones that have to cope with a very difficult playing field, because the reality is of these people are asking for these pay rises in, sorry I'm fidgeting now, these people are asking for pay rises in, say, train striking, firemen or whatever, I'm just picking those as examples, could be anyone. Their salary is not impacted like mine is, so they might be worse off than they were a year ago, but they're still earning their salary, aren't they? And that realistically, it's unlikely they're going to get made redundant if you're a teacher so if you stick it out for 40 years, you'll get a good retirement. You won't work to 67. Trust me, I've never seen a 67-year-old teacher working. I'll be working at 67 because my pension is diddly squat, because I can't afford to take out money out of my business when I've got things like this 4p or 3p a litre milk price cut. And that is that's the difference between these people asking for these pay rises and someone like myself who are looking at how do we cope with this going on. It is really difficult to manage a farm at the moment when you do not know where your costs are going. Honestly, I can honestly say this. I've managed a farm now here for, well, with my dad and my brother, we've done 30, 40 years of this. I started when I was 16, so I'm 55 in May, and I've done, so that's nearly 40 years, isn't it? 39 years of farming, and it's always been difficult to manage it, but I've never known anything like this, because our costs have gone like that, and fair play, our milk price has gone like that, so it's kind of like helped us out. But now we're looking at our costs are still, they might have plateaued a bit, but they're not gone like that. And potentially going to go up even more when my electric bill kicks in and the single farm payment is going like that. what the new scheme, the New Elm scheme, is going to do is going to replace some of that with some work for the public good, if you like, but I don't think it'll cope with replacing the single farm claimant completely. And I've got now milk prices going like that, and what's going to happen in April? Very difficult. Do you know what? I wish my income was in the same position as these people going on strike. At least you know you'll get some sort of pay rise and a decent pension at the end of it. Anyway, some people will probably jump on me for saying that, but I'm just sort of like looking at it from different perspectives. Anyway, I'm not down, I'm just keeping going, but I just thought I'd point out what's going on in the world and inflation and everything like that. Anyway, looking at these trees, will we get some pears off this one next year? I love a nice pear, hope you do too. Anyway, that's the Funky Farmer milk price rant over. Let's get back to farming. Next video up will be, I got a hedge trimming video going up, because I've started on the hedge trimmer. You just noticed I've done that one. I greased up the hedge trimmer, so that'll be coming out, well, probably Saturday anyway. Crack on for now, crack on.